So far, though, nobody can tell me why I'm single because I stay asking, y'all, what is it? What am I doing wrong? Because it can't just be about no looks.
Yeah, it can't be that. As a matter of fact, a lot of times when it's about the looks, that person is the most trouble.
Well, but I know that's not me though.
I'm
Am
not.
I annoying? Yes.
I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying like.
I know, but I'm not even taking it personally, but I'm
Okay.
internalizing
Good.
because I'm not saying you're attacking me, but it's me.
That's not what I'm doing.
No. I try to internalize it so I'm always doing a self-check.
Yeah.
I always doing this. I don't feel like I'm on the attack. Or like you're attacking me. I'm just doing a self-check. So
you think we should do self-checks? I think it's good to reassess every now and again, which is a self-check. But you think that like folks like you and I, are we like too hard on ourselves when we do a self-check?
I probably am, but I'm an overthinker. It's in my zodiac, so I'm gonna stay.
What's your zodiac?
I'm a Virgo.
Okay.
So I'm a perfectionist. I'm an overthinker, overanalyzer. So it's just what I do.
Yeah.
I do know that it's gonna take somebody special.
Yeah.
Because an overanalyzer or an overthinker needs an overcommunicator. I need to constantly be reassured. But at the same time, I can't even really say that because the guy that I spent almost 12 years with, I didn't need attention from him like that. It just was what it was. We were cool. We were good.
Yeah, but I think sometimes too, like you said, there's a level of comfort with being able to be with someone like that. Like where you know, even if, let's say y'all sharing a home, even it's like I know this person is not gonna be out all night. I know this person is getting off work and they're gonna be home by 7. They might stop by the grocery store or whatever, but they're gonna be home. It ain't gonna be like me calling and like, where you at? You okay? You know, it's just that's the level of comfort that I think everyone desires in a relationship. Like it's like,
and I had that, which is
well, you got a person who walks out the door and it's not like, oh, they're up to something. But I also know people who are that way. When their partner walks out the door, if they're going an hour, they start calling.
Okay. Well, yeah, I experienced in that almost 12-year relationship, I did experience that on both ends.
Yeah.
Because I was comfortable. We were living together. I was comfortable, but I got too comfortable.
And what does that mean?
I mean, like I wasn't checking for him like that. I wasn't doing no ride-bys or nothing trying
to find out. But isn't that the way it's supposed to be, though? Like, it ain't no, like, what's too comfortable? I think that's a great thing when you can get too comfortable.
Guess what? No, because when I realized that I wasn't happy in it and I made the shit, like I eventually found out that he was doing other stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. So I was at a point where I was comfortable, but I feel like when I got too comfortable or I stopped like paying attention, stopped checking for what he was doing, it just had God put it right in front of my face that he was doing other stuff. Just in one of our random check-ins through the day, what we having for dinner. Well, I'm gonna be home at this time. I'm over on. He said he was in South Atlanta somewhere, and I pulled up, like, while we're on the phone call, I pull up right beside him, and we're right by our house in Gwinnett County. And I'm like, you said you're where?
Oh, man.
I'm on Jonesboro Road. And I was like, look to your left. So he lied. And I never knew why. And at that point, I started to check out. But it was dropped right in my lap, just like that. And I'm like, I didn't even follow him. I didn't even try to follow him then to see where he was going because I felt like if I had played it differently, I should have never told him I was right there. I should have just followed him to see where he was going. But no.
So you felt like he was setting up the lie to do something he was intending to do later on.
He was headed to do something in the area.
Yeah.
He was headed away from our house.
I feel you.
Yeah. He was headed away from our house, and I just happened to roll up on him. And the thing is, when he and I moved out from the house, he moved in with somebody else who lives in the area, and I feel like it's the person he was going to see that day. So he was already seeing her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that he was close enough to move in with somebody out of our home, they already had that going.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long it had been. So you
That's right, because you were just feeling your relationship. Like, I'm good with my relationship. I don't suspect this man to be doing anything. He's home every night. I got you.
He was never away from home.
I got you.
Never away from home.
I got you. I understand. But that's deep.
That's why I stayed so long, because even though I wasn't happy, I wasn't miserable. We were going through the motions. We, having dinner every night. We were still having our little dates, through the week or on weekends.
Yeah.
It was a normal relationship.
There were no signs of no drama.
I mean, there were signs, but I was too busy doing what I was doing. At that point, I was running a business. Like, towards the end of the relationship, I was running my business. I was working 40 hours a week for state government and running my event space. So I was busy. But and there had been, a couple of other times, like during the relationship, like I had heard him deny me.
What?
Booked out. I heard him talking to somebody. That was early on, though.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that's why I know I should have never been in that relationship, because God has shown me about 3 or 4 months in, he butt dialed me, and I heard him telling his ex-wife that he didn't have anybody, that he was single. And she was like, I don't blame you. You should be out in these, well, she didn't say in these streets because that was so long ago, but it was, you should be out, dating multiple women or whatever, living the good life or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I can still remember it. I fell down on my knees on the side of the bed, just boo-hooing. Like, oh my God. But yeah, so, and I think that's the makings of the relationship are also what kept me from ultimately being able to marry him. Even though he asked, I just never felt comfortable. I never felt secure in it.
Yeah.
But even my guy that had all these kids and all these babies' mamas and all of that, I felt better in that relationship than I did with this guy that I spent all these years with. I can tell I was never in love with him. I was way more in love with the guy who had all these kids. So I know I'm looking for a feeling. I'm looking for a chemistry, a connection.
Yeah, I got you.
And I won't stop until I get it. So I pray that that's what God is sending to me. Otherwise, I would hate that he will wire me this way. Clearly, he ain't got to have no whole lot of money, because that guy was not making, he was making $15.50 an hour.
Yeah.
Not making no money.
Yeah.
All these kids, all of that. So I wish I could talk to Kevin Samuels right now and be like, nope, I'm not one of those who think I got to have this high dollar, whatever. Even if I could.
Yeah, that's dope.
I could. But that's the thing. Those dudes, I dated millionaires, but they're not looking to settle down either.
Yeah. I can see that.
So I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what it's going to be. But
you do know what it's going to be. You just said it. It's a feeling.
I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know what's going to make that feeling stay.
But let me ask you, are you open to feeling?
I don't think I have a choice in not. Like, that's the only...
Yeah. But it's a good question, right? Because some of us are not even open to feeling.
Okay, right. No, I'm not. I am definitely open
to feeling something.
Because there was a time that I wasn't. Last year, this time, I was not open.
Let me tell you something. I asked that question for a reason, because I've always felt, no matter what, if I was feeling something, that means I cared. Even if that person hurt me, it took me feeling that hurt to know that it was something. You know what I'm saying? But there's also times where I've been with people who I know would have loved me dearly, but I had no emotion. Like, I wasn't feeling anything.
Okay.
So I think it's a fair question to ask, when you ask someone, are you open to feeling? Like, are you open to feeling, or, have you been so damaged? Because there's a time when I was so damaged where, people would want to be with me or care about me, and I was just numb, like, and it was damaged from an earlier or prior relationship.
Mm-hmm. Wow. No. Um. When I thought I think I'm open. I'm consciously open. Now, what's gonna happen when I get in there? I'm not really sure. But like I said, I know that last year, this time, I went through a point of self-love and healing where I would not even entertain a man taking me out.
Yeah.
I wasn't giving out my number to anybody. I wasn't trying to meet anybody new. I was just loving on me. And it was hard starting out, but it ended up being the very best, the happiest I had ever been in my life, where my happiness did not depend on another human being.
Let me ask you something. Can I ask you to get really deep real quick?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's say you meet this guy and you're dating this guy and you're really feeling this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was time to have a conversation about what is what, like what you want, what you expect. And him telling you what he wants and what he expects. Is it a conversation you're ready to have? And are you willing to like really tell him like what, like even if it's you're loving on this guy and it's at the detriment of the relationship because you think what you may say could run him off?
Right.
What is that honest conversation like?
Honestly,
what is that conversation like?
I have never had that conversation.
You gotta have it. You have to have
that
it.
Is so okay. First of all, let's say, where are the men who are trying to have that conversation? Okay? Because I don't
They're
know
around. Trust
guy
me.
that I was with all the kids.
Yeah.
We started our relationship when he said, "I want you to be my girl right now."
Yeah.
And that was the start of it. I went with it. We learned about each other throughout. And that was okay with me because we had the commitment, and I was committed to us working through whatever it was, or if we got to a point where it wasn't working, we was out.
Yeah, that's fine. 6 months, that's fine. Maybe a year, maybe even 2 years, as long as there's a plan. But when you start talking, moving beyond that, what does that conversation look like?
I can't say that I've had it, and that's the thing. That's my problem.
If you had to have it right now with the guy right now, and he was like, "What does it look like? If I ask you to marry me, what does it look like in 2 years?"
Oh, we talking about marriage and not dating.
I'm talking about starting off dating, whatever. But it's time to take that next step, and you're tired of being a girlfriend. What does that conversation look like? How do you approach that? You're sitting down, right now, you've been thinking about this for 2 weeks. We've been together 2 years now. And I'm serious about him. I think he's serious about me, but I just want to let him know that like I want more than just to be somebody's girlfriend. Like, what is that conversation? How do you have that conversation?
I'm pretty sure that any guy that I'm with knows I won't say off rip.
That's deflection.
But I have made it clear to him and not know I don't want to be a wife. I've let him know in so many ways. If he knows anything about me, if he's read a post, if he's seen my social media,
you're missing my whole question. You're missing my whole question, and I hope it's not deflecting because I'm asking you personally. You're getting ready to have this conversation about your man.
That's what I'm telling you.
You're not gonna do it at all.
I don't know that I want to have that conversation.
Oh my God, you gotta have it. You have to have it.
Because I don't want to direct. I don't want to give.
Oh, you cannot do that. Years will pass.
Don't say that. No, it won't. Because I'll be gone.
Well, how you just gonna leave? You haven't even told him what you wanted.
Yes,
He may want the same thing. Maybe it's like that's what I'm asking you.
Wait a minute. Hold on, LJ. Are you on this? You okay if the woman asks you to marry her?
That absolutely not.
Oh,
But I'm okay with a woman coming to me and saying, like, I don't want to be your girlfriend forever. Can we talk about what the future looks like?
That sounds so sweet and so good, but the fact that, and maybe this is why I don't want to have the conversation, because I've been thrown away from me just asking guys that we might be dating, like, okay, what are we doing? Are we going to be exclusive? And then they backpedal out the door. So I'm afraid to have that conversation.
What's the signs of that? What's the signs of that, though?
What do you mean?
You've had that conversation, and when you had that conversation, they start backpedaling. Were there no signs of that at all before you had that conversation?
No.
So if you had that conversation in the beginning, would you have wasted so much time with that person?
Well, you gotta see what's there. I'm thinking, well, okay, so this is the deal. I guess you would have to experience me to know. I'm not keeping it from anybody what my desires are.
Yeah.
I've let somebody know, like I remember a guy that I was dating probably a couple years ago, at least I thought we were dating. We met, had a great time. I mean, it was a whirlwind romance from Jump Street. We started seeing each other. The day we met, we went out twice.
Yeah.
The very day we met at the gym. We had lunch after the gym and had dinner that night. Yeah. I just knew this was my husband. He introduced me to his son the very next day. After we had been seeing each other every day straight for a couple of weeks, I'm like, okay, so this feels nice.
Yeah.
And actually, within that first week, actually, he heard some man on the phone flirt with me. I was at a drive-thru or something. He was like, tell that to me, bro, you about to be taken. So I'm thinking this is the road we're on. This is what he wants, what I wanted. But it turned out, I feel like he was trying to love bomb me or something, because when I said, this feels good. So, I thought we were on the same page because he had alluded to it. I'm, available. Anytime he wanted to hang out, that's what we were doing. And so I was waiting on him to bring up the conversation since he had said, you about to be taken, so when I started to say that, then he said, let me run this. That was his response to what I said. And he never circled back. And as a matter of fact, like I said, that's when I started feeling him kind of trickle away. And when I talked to some of my guy friends, they were like, no, you never bring it up. Don't you bring it up. If he don't bring it up, don't you. You just got to make a decision to move on or, keep doing what y'all doing. And I actually, not just because I was advised of that, but I like it better that way. I want the man to lead the relationship. He'll know because I'm going to treat him.
I would not give a woman that advice, though. Like I would never give a woman friend of mine even that advice. Like I would be like, bring it up so you know if you're wasting your time or not. Like any of us can go out here and get sex, right? So it's not about sex. It's like
it is though. It is. I've learned that it is though, because the thing is, they can say from Jump Street. Listen, when I was online dating, I checked the box that says I'm looking for a long-term relationship, and I only matched with guys. I only accepted matches from guys who said the same thing. If you said you was looking for a friendship or anything other than a long-term relationship,
who's telling the truth on those? Like nobody's.
Exactly, but in real life they do the same thing. Is what I'm saying. So I've learned from both entities that in person and online, a guy will say that they want a long-term relationship when that is not what they're interested in at all. At all. I literally had a guy, met him in person, not online, but he, within a couple of weeks, mentioned something. He started having this sexual talk with me, and I was like, well, you ready to talk relationship? And his whole everything changed in that, like from that point going forward. And the next week, I felt like he was calling less and everything. And when I was like, listen, what's going on? Your energy has totally changed. And he said, well, you started talking to me about being in a relationship, and it's too soon to start talking about a relationship. I said, well, you didn't think it was too soon to start talking about sex?
Right.
Because that's actually, I brought it up. I brought up a relationship because you were talking about sex. And I told you I wasn't having casual sex. So that's what, and this was from a 56-year-old man.
Yeah. That's nuts.
This is from and this is a man that I actually, he begged me for a chance to come out of my self-love journey. I told him when I met him, I hate men, leave me alone, I'm good. And he brought 2 other men over to me to convince me, y'all, she said she hate me, let's toast her, we gotta change her mind. And Lord have mercy, within 2 weeks, this man, I was like, oh, get out of here. Because he was on that same stuff. So it doesn't matter. Some men will be honest with you and tell you that they don't want a relationship, but they want sex. And some of them will tell you they do want a relationship, but they don't. That's what I've experienced. And that's what makes it hard to be, dare I say, attractive.
You know what? I did that when I was younger, though.
No, and
I feel like that's something you grow out of, but you're telling me this guy's 56.
They don't. I'm used to dealing with older men. The guy that I was with for 12 years, he is turning 60 this year. He was 16 years older than me. I'm not new to dating older men. Yeah. I'm not new to that. I've always dated older. He's the oldest, I think. But, I love mature men. But like the guy that I was dating who had all those kids, he and I were the same age. We graduated together. So I've been, up and down. It seems like they all the same. I'm this sweet girl who's cooking and, all of it. Come on. So I don't think that it benefits you to have the conversation. I'm watching your actions at this point. I'm still vetting you.
But would you say you're also being a little naive? Because you're not seeing, just like you said with the other guy, you wasn't even seeing that. Like, it just happened out of the blue, and you're like, he had to be dating her. But you never saw it coming. The girl who was living in the same neighborhood?
Oh, gotcha. I don't know. I may have been naive in that situation. I also feel like, I guess because I didn't really care. I knew I was never in love. I was just kind of there, and I don't ever want to do that again.
Well, I've been with folks that I felt like I was just kind of nonchalant. Like, I'm never going into a relationship to like track your phone, put something on your car. So when you leave and you say this is where you're going, that's where I'm thinking you're going. Like, I don't never question it in my head.
Right. Well, I've been there with that. Now, at some points, I did, obsess over it. But for the most part of the 12 years, I wasn't like that. I was just kind of doing my own thing. I may have been a little naive, but like I said, as long as he was coming home every night, I wasn't worried about.
But after it happened, did you go back? Did you like reflect back and be like, dang, that was a sign, I missed it?
Oh, absolutely.
And what was the sign? What had happened?
There was one particular night that we were at where we went to Popeyes for dinner. We went to the drive-thru.
Oh, my favorite spot.
I know, right? Yeah, we used to eat that.
And we was lighting it up when we was at Keller Williams. Go ahead, though.
So yeah, we went to Popeyes, went to the drive-thru. He drove. I'm in the passenger seat. He has has a distinct color on his Range Rover. And we're at the drive-thru and somebody is blowing. I'm hearing somebody blowing. And all of a sudden, like, this car pulls up beside us. Now, there are cars in front of us and cars behind us.
So y'all can't even move. Like, he's stuck to deal with whatever's getting ready to come out of that car.
No, it was, okay, so this is what happened. I'm hearing the horn blow because because we were driving. We pull up to the drive-thru. Lady pulls up next to us at the drive-thru, and when I look over and roll down the window, I'm like, "You know her?" And he said, "No." And she said, "I'm looking for directions to get somewhere." She said. In that moment, I was like, "You know what she's talking about?" And he was like, "No, I don't." And I said, "We don't know where it is." And she drove off. It didn't occur to me until after we had already broke up. Oh, no, I'm sorry. When I saw that lady, I'm still lying. When I saw him going away from the house, when I started to put stuff together, why didn't that same, first of all, who in 2020, the year of our Lord, is still looking for directions somewhere when you got a GPS on your phone? There were cars in front of us.
I got you. Yeah, that's naive.
One of those cars.
We call that naive, yeah.
And when she pulled up and saw me in the
she was letting him know at that point in time that, nigga, I ain't getting ready to like bust you out, but I'm letting you know.
I see you, right?
Yeah.
Or that if she knew about me, because honestly, I don't think he really could have been cheating heavily, because again, he never spent the night with them. He was
did you right? And I got you on that, but did you even? It doesn't even sound like. It sounds like after she drove off, you just rolled up the window. You never even looked at him.
Did not even question him. Did not think anything of it. Not to mention, she wasn't attractive at all. So I'm like, I know. I mean, and maybe it would. It may not have been a lady. It might have been the lady's mama or whatever. I would have missed somebody that knows him. But for her,
let me ask you a question. If you had looked at him in the moment, could you think you would have been able to tell something was wrong? If you had looked. You just let's just say you fell all the way into the trap. There's nothing wrong. This is a person asking for directions. If you had turned to your left and looked him in the face, because I'm sure he was sweating in that moment, would you had known that there was something else?
It did not even occur to me in the moment that she could have stopped at the car in front of us behind us to ask, because she pulled off at that point.
Yeah,
she didn't go to the car. She just pulled out. It did not occur to me. So I was being naive.
Yeah.
But
I'm asking, did you know him well enough? If you were not being naive, did you know him well enough where you could have looked at him and be like, "This nigga lying"? That was some bullshit.
Yeah, probably so. I'm pretty sure I would have known.
You would have seen it if you had just looked at him.
There were times when I could hear it in his voice when he was lying.
Yeah.
We was together for many years.
I could always tell. Like, I honestly would not even like get with someone. Like, first of all, there has to be character. There has to be a connection, and in order for that to even happen, for there to be connection or chemistry, like, I've already felt that this person is a certain way. And that comes from observing this person and how they move. So even if it's unexpected, like, if it don't sound right to me, I'm just gonna look at them. And I don't know, like you said, it's a gift of discernment. But if it don't feel right in my spirit, like if someone pulled up to me, let's just say I was sitting on the passenger side and you were driving, you're at the window, I roll my window down and the guy says, "Hey, you got directions to this one place?" And then I say, "Nah, I ain't got we don't know what that is." And I roll the window back up. But then, if you knew that was somebody that you was messing with, I'm just saying, if you knew, you're gonna be sweating instantly.
Absolutely.
It's gonna give you a weird posture.
Right.
And if all I did was look at you, I would be like, "Okay, who in the fuck was that?"
That's crazy, because thinking back on the moment, I don't think I noticed.
I think a lot of us do that, but I'm just saying, like, if you had looked at him, so I wouldn't say it was like being naive. It was just like, person asking for directions. But if you had just looked to your left after you rolled your window up, would you have been able to tell in that moment something is wrong?
I
know. Yeah. But there's a specific question being asked here. And the question is, I think you already know the answer to it. If you had looked at him, if you had just thought in your head, why is somebody asking for directions? Everybody got a phone, everybody got GPS. And you had just looked at him, you would have known in that moment, right there, that something was wrong.
I hate that it didn't occur to me at the time. I'm smarter than that.
Yeah.
I hate that it didn't. But because I was shown at that point, God was like, "Oh, my baby didn't catch that."
Yeah, that's a real like. I sent you a boat. Yeah. Yeah, that is God saying, I literally sent you a boat.
Yes. He absolutely sent the boat.
Yeah.
So by the time, thankfully though, I didn't die. I definitely caught
that's
it.
That's worst case scenario,
but
we ain't
doing that. To some other place, and he was literally 3 minutes from our house, saying he on Riverdale Road.
Yeah.
But even then, I didn't try to figure it out. I turned around and went home.
Well,
like, okay, now we know what we got to do.
Can I give you a bit of advice? You don't have to take it, but don't listen to your other guy friends when they say don't say nothing, don't mention it.
Well, women say that too. There's a woman
coach. No. Listen.
There's a dating coach, a relationship
coach. She
also tells you, don't say nothing. You'll know. They'll know, because a man who wants you is going to say that. He's going to come and get you. He's going to let you know. Because it seems like they get scared when they back out. That was what I appreciated and loved about my guy got all these kids, because he didn't even ask. He said what he wanted, and I was so impressed with that.
Yeah.
Versus every time I did it, dudes had all these excuses.
But if you had mentioned that in the beginning, would you have wasted so much time? You would have had your answer in the beginning. That's why I say bring it up. Like, don't be afraid to bring it up, because if a man is looking for a wife...
Let me tell you something. When this man introduced me to his son,
2
days
God.
after we met,
oh my God.
That to me said he wanted me here.
Yeah, I get you.
But within the first week, telling me, "Oh no, tell that dude you about to be taken."
Yeah, I feel you. That was like it was hitting you in certain spots, and you're just like, okay, this could be it. You know, I feel that. That was
it. So I
But I don't know. Like, I would much rather have the conversation. And this is me as a man. I would rather go to a woman and be like, look, I don't want no kids, but I'd love to be married. And then if she's a certain age, where she wants to have kids, like, yeah.
Y'all can have the conversation. Men can have the conversation with us. We ain't going nowhere. The problem is when women...
But you may, if it's something you truly know that you don't want. Or if it's truly something that you do want that you know he's not willing to give.
So, I'll say this too. In the beginning, like when I first meet somebody, I don't know yet if I want any of that with them. So it may not be time to bring up the conversation.
Yeah, but you know you want to be someone's wife. You know you don't want to be dating for 4 or 5 years before that happens. And that's just a general conversation. It's not to run the person off, but if it does, it's like, I save time.
Okay. Well, you show me some dudes that are mature enough to have this adult conversation that you keep talking about.
Yeah,
this general conversation. Because these Negroes are not trying to have it. Now, granted, I'm not trying to have this on the first date. First date with somebody, I'm just trying to have fun. I want to have a good time on the first date. I'm not trying to doodle our names together. I'm not trying to see if I want to get married to you. I'm just trying to see we have good conversation, have a good time. That is all. So I don't want to bring it up too early.
I got you. I just would.
I wish I could.
I know it's different for guys versus girls, but I just would. Especially if it's something I know I want. Like, I'm just gonna bring it up. Like, Because honestly, we should just beat up and just say, "Hey, you feel like fucking?" You know, and
be able to be honest about our intentions. Absolutely, I agree 100%.
yeah. Because if we start going down this road for a year and we haven't had that conversation, oh my God, you wasted an entire year.
I don't plan on doing that anymore. No.
Yeah, we've all done it. I'm just wondering how women handle that once they're older, because women mature much earlier than men do.
Right, but so with my last guy, I think he brought it up. He started calling me wifey, and
That's dope.
Card that says to my wife, but you really didn't mean that.
But it's still, even if a dude is calling you his wife, like, it's still a conversation that needs to be had. Like, and even if he's calling you his wife, but he's like, yeah, but I want to be married in like probably in like 10 years. No, it's a conversation that you didn't have, and then you could have been married 4 times in 10 years. Like,
no. We've had that conversation. Like, even with the guy that I was with for all those years, he proposed by year 3. Now, I did bring it up with him because I felt like he was dragging his feet. But I don't even know why I was doing that. Because at the end of the day, I didn't want to marry him. I wanted to see more out of him. So I don't even know why I brought it up like that. I have no idea.
But you do know where you are right now today that you want to be somebody's wife. And you want someone to be your husband, right?
Absolutely.
You know that today, flat out, without even thinking about
it. Flat out. Now, whose is the question? But the fact that I want to be, absolutely, yes.
Right. So what's wrong with saying that and saying, look, I ain't trying to be out here being somebody's girlfriend for 3-4 years. Like, right. Honestly, I've been in love. I've met people and been in love in 6 months.
Right.
It's just real talk. Like you said, maybe it's grown up conversation, and maybe a lot of guys aren't ready to have that. But hear me out. Wouldn't you rather run those guys off?
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Now, I tend to find out pretty fast, because what guys do to me is love. They want to love bomb me. And I know how to play that game now. I know what it looks like. So you're going to come in and do all of this stuff. You're going to call, check in all day, every day. And then you're going to fizzle. The first time you try me for sex and I don't give it up, you're going to start to fizzle. Now I know the game and you're good and gone. I'm going to know who's serious or not. At least I hope to, because I've seen it enough. I'm just disappointed that men think apparently there are still women who are falling for that. And I can't blame them, because everybody don't know what it looks like. But as somebody who gets approached by a shitload of men, excuse my French, I know what it looks like a mile away at this point.
Yeah.
But no, I wish I could have that conversation. I wish we could have that healthy conversation second, third time in. But oh my gosh, like the way I have been ghosted and have no idea why, but ultimately they weren't interested because I didn't sleep with them or didn't kiss them or whatever the case may have been. But yeah, I've been ghosted many a time. Because guys are not trying to do that. They're not trying to, they'll say they want something. They'll act like they are very interested in you. And that doesn't shock me, because I know what I present. I'm trying to cook. I be cooking way too early. But, I'm dressing up when we go out. I'm, trying to look. I'm being attentive. I done read the books, honey. I feel like I know what a lot of guys are asking for, but I just don't know what it takes to make them stick around and say, okay, this is the one. She's special. Because I have had men tell me, a man who is a millionaire said I had made the best cabbage he had ever had in his life. It was better than his mama's.
Wow.
But we never even, I don't even think we ever kissed, but he played around. He played around. We looked great together. We photographed well together. We went out a few times, went to his house, beautiful home. Yeah, but I think he just wants to stay out here in these streets.
Yeah,
He has
the men with all that money, they have those options. They can
absolutely.
they can they
I mean,
can
but what are you?
they
Go
can
ahead.
let it ride for an
Yeah.
extra 10 years.
What are
It's
you
like,
doing? Why are you bothering me? Well, go fool with them other people. You
yeah,
trying to bring somebody new into the squad? I'm good.
yeah,
I'm good. And I've
but
had a couple of them like that.
yeah,
No, I'm not about to, because I know that what you're saying, the men who have a lot of money, they got options. I know that going into it.
yeah.
And I know there are some who are as pretty as me who are prettier than me.
And have money, so it's like an extra double. It's like double whammy.
Doing them.
I mean, they can be handsome plus have money, and that's like a
Right.
double whammy.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, because I'm not talking to you if you're not. I'm not dating you if you're not handsome. I'm
Yeah.
not doing it. But they can have a woman who's pretty and who has, who has stuff, way more than I do. Who doesn't have kids or who does or whatever. Hey, they can check all the boxes. But I'm not trying to be on nobody's roster.
Yeah.
So yeah. But that's why, that online dating and stuff got to be overwhelming because I was confused. I did not realize that was a way that people just want to hook up. I'm actually on there looking for love.
Yeah.
So that didn't work. But, even meeting people in person and, enjoying somebody's company. Like I said, the guy that we met and went out twice in the same day and then saw each other every day for 2 weeks. And I met his son. Why doesn't stuff like that work out? So I'm like, hold on. Like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Guys are confusing.
I don't know. I don't think I would introduce. And listen, I've introduced women to my son and it didn't work out. But I don't think I would ever introduce a woman to my son knowing that it's not going to work out. That means I'm serious with that person. That's what that means to me.
I had people on two different sides. There were some people who were saying there should have been a red flag to me that he introduced me to his son so soon. But
I got that too.
I thought the opposite because I didn't know that kids were being used as pawns. I didn't. Like, who does that?
Yeah, it's a terrible thing to do. It's a terrible thing to do, but I do know people do that. Yes.
And I thought kids were off limits. I'm still used to now. You don't want to meet my kid. But and he said, I wouldn't introduce you to my son if I didn't think you were special.
That's terrible.
So yeah, but. So I don't know what happened, and I don't know if he was love bombing me, but I know nothing ever came of it. Very soon after that, he was seeing somebody else. So it's difficult. That's why I really want to get my ass somewhere and sit.
Do that again. You said, do it again one more time, please. No. Do it again, no. Please. That you express your frustrations in that moment, right? Oh, yeah. That's how you know it's real talk, right? Do that again.
Times that I'm feeling like this could be it, and I'm putting my best foot forward, and it's hard to give yourself to somebody, learn their favorite colors, just being in their space. Seeing what their habits are, that's a lot. I don't wear energy well. I don't take it on well. That's why I have to be very protective of my energy and my space, because when I'm around people, I'm soaking it up. I'm gonna love it. And then if you just take that away from me, I'm like, dang, it's a roller coaster for me. It's exhausting mentally. Guys can do it and not think nothing of it.
If you had to tell a guy that you're serious about, or if you knew that a woman who was serious about a guy was wanting to have a conversation about what's next, like what would you advise that woman? What would you advise that woman who has met this guy and he's everything and he's already love bombing and he's calling her wifey? Like what? It's not like a bad thing, right? But I'm just wondering, like, what kind of advice would you give to a woman who is maybe more emotionally involved than that guy? But the guy could get there. It doesn't mean like leave him, but the guy could get there. What would you tell that woman?
How do we know that he can get there?
That was a hypothetical.
Yeah, that made it sticky.
It made it sticky. That sticky that you can't give a woman advice. You're making it very personal. If you can't give a woman advice.
Well, I don't like to just be throwing advice out there if I don't, know what the situation is. Now, if she is really into the guy and she thinks that he could get there, she may have to give it a deadline, sis, or see what your heart can hold.
That's advice.
What you can take.
That's advice.
I'm not going to, not to mention, I don't know, I'm not going to tell somebody to just walk away because I know matters of the heart are interesting and you just never know what your heart can take. Some people can, walk away like that. If I'm not interested in somebody, I can walk away. If I've invested time, I really think this person has potential and I think they suit me, I'm very attracted to them, I'm going to hold on a little while longer.
Well, I'll tell you this. Now, Jasmine Sullivan said, this foolish heart will jump into the deepest part of the sea knowing that I can't swim.
Yes, that's what we would do. However, even me saying that, though, what I just said is not completely true because I was with my ex for almost 12 years and I knew for most of that time that I was not in love. I chose to love him. I did not actually feel. I don't know why it's such a freaking conundrum, if you will. Why?
You know what I used to say when I would get into arguments with certain people I was dating and they were like, they give that old line that relationships are work. If you want this work, you have to put in the work. You know what and as crazy as this sounds, this is how I would always 100% respond to that. A relationship to me should not be work. Mm-hmm. A relationship should just work.
I like it.
And I say that because the minute you start trying to change a person or even changing yourself to make someone else happy is going to throw the whole thing off. So it should just work. Like, without all of the, I don't, I don't like you smoking or I don't like you drinking or if a man loves you or if a woman and you care for that person, those are going to be changes that they're going to make on their own. Just to be able to be healthy and spend more time with you.
Right. I agree.
And so I've always said that, and I'll repeat it again, a relationship should not be work. It should just work.
I wish it was that simple, but for some reason it seems like it's not. For some reason.
Yeah, but if you recognize it early, then you move on, right? This relationship is too much work.
Yeah. Well, I will say, like I said, on my last one, it was really, really good. I could not have asked for anything more other than us being in the same state for at least the first 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And it was after that is when I started noticing stuff and we started having problems. But by that time, my heart was in it. And it wasn't as easy to say, oh, well, this ain't going to work. Let me move on. Because I am willing to work for my relationship. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, these are just some of the kinks that we need to work through.
And I've always looked for relationships that just work. Sounds like it hasn't gotten either one of us anywhere, but I feel like it's more enjoyable. And even if you break up, like you still can have a healthy respect and have a healthy conversation about what. I know what you're getting ready to say. Yes, I got you.
You've been married.
Yeah, I got
you.
Yeah.
You've been married.
Yeah.
So we are not the same, sir. Well, no, as the girl who still has not experienced her first time being married, I'm pissed. At least y'all, I be telling my mama that. She like, girl, I ain't been married. I don't care. You were married. I don't care that you haven't been married. 10, 15 years, you were married. You had something that I'm still trying to get. I haven't done it for the first time. So,
I was talking to a young lady that I used to date, and she's been married 4 times.
Wow.
She's been married 4 times. This is what she said. This isn't a personal attack or anything. She said it's a red flag if a woman gets to her 40s and she hasn't been married. Do you feel the same way about that?
Of course not, because I am in my 40s and.
But maybe you do feel a certain way about it because you're questioning it instead of saying, "Oh, maybe this guy's this or this guy's that." You're questioning yourself.
You're saying it wasn't on me?
No, it wasn't on you.
Well, no, okay. I don't know why it would be considered a red flag though that I have not been married at my age. When it should be almost as normal. It can actually be a very healthy thing. Some people at 40 don't want to get married.
But listen, she dropped that jewel and she's been married 4 times, so it's not like she's getting it right.
Exactly.
But she's demonstrating that she's saying that everybody can be married at least once by their 40s.
Well, and that's why it's not a red flag. I shouldn't be the red flag, because while everybody says you're single by choice, you are absolutely right. So I chose to not marry somebody that I knew I shouldn't. I'm not out here just trying to be somebody who's been married 4 times. Seems like they probably just out here doing something all willy-nilly.
Yeah.
I'll give you 2. But if you've been married 4 times, like, it seems like you'll just marry anybody.